Hello, welcome to an F1 2020 league race at Zandvoort. It's raining, so that's gonna be fun. And I'm starting in P7. And having a pretty decent start. Can find quite some traction. Now heading into the first turn. And I did lose a position, but I got through unharmed. I did kind of block that Williams behind me. And now onto the curb with a Ferrari. And the Red Bull spun, and I'm already onto the Ferrari, as you can see here, but it's very tricky to overtake in this section of the track, especially in these conditions. And in general, I think that it's quite tricky on Zandvoort to drive in the wet. And especially coming out of the last turn, I'm kind of careful with the steering wheel, even though I did almost lose the car. Wow, that was very close. I spun out of that turn once, and that's why I'm trying to be careful. Now in lap 5, and I have a Williams behind me who's a lot faster. And braking into this section I have the slightest luck up. And that gave him an opportunity to pass me. And I'm trying to defend, but he's already next to me. He took advantage of my little mistake in a nice way.
Come on, you can win that place back.
No, Jeff, I cannot, as much as I want to. So in the next lap the Williams is already onto the Ferrari. And he's gonna go for the position in this part of the track, which is gonna be very tricky. And then they actually hit each other. And the Williams loses his car, they hit again, and he retires straight away.
Green flag.
And that caused a safety car.
Full course caution. The safety car is out.
So at the end of the safety car I tried to do burnouts, but it doesn't work. It just takes away my power. That's a really weird feeling, but that's preventing you, I guess, from doing bad things. Now onto the restart. It's a pretty controlled restart. Now going into lap 13 I have a Haas behind me who is very much faster. But actually in the rain it's nice to defend because there's only one dry line and there's no DRS. And that can create some fun battles. And again he tries to attack me on my left now. But just using all of my ERS, I can't keep him behind. Now in lap 14 and he's on for another attack. You can actually see his wheel right there. I stay ahead and he ends up on my left, so I need to leave him space. But I have a better exit, so I can still leave him behind. Lap 15, he's gonna give it another try. Now on my inside. He actually hits me. And then now coming out of the turn, I just need a good exit. And I'm getting a good exit, so still ahead of him. And this is a fun battle. And lap 17 and he's gonna go for it again. Now he actually gets pretty far ahead of me. Just before I get ahead myself again. Now coming out of the turn we tangle wheels with each other, making me have big front wing damage. So what actually happened? I was trying to not give him too much space, but not too little. But apparently it was too little. But did I actually leave him too little space? So this is what it looked like right before we collided, and it's kind of hard to judge. But hindsight, I should have given more space, because my exit probably would have been better. But actually, this turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because the rain has stopped, the track's drying. So because I need to pit anyway, I'm just gonna go for the slicks right away. So considering the 19 laps to go, I wanted to go for the mediums. But the game itself actually changed to hards, weirdly enough. So that's not really ideal. But anyway, Jeff has some great news.
DRS has been enabled.
So that's of course a great timing to change the slicks. And it's still pretty slippery here, so I have major wheel spin coming out of the pit lane. And there's actually a back marker right in front of me that doesn't turn into a ghost, so I have to wait for this slow person. And now I can finally pass right through. Okay, so luckily the hard tire is actually not that terrible on Zandvoort, so that's great. But I am struggling a little bit in my outlap, just because it's still a little bit slippery. as you can see me slide my way through. And a little bit later I get some terrible wheel spin. But I still put in a purple sector 3, so that's great. So it's been a great call. Now to continue the race in the dry was actually kind of a relief. Driving this track in the rain is pretty intense. I usually like driving in the rain, but on Zandvoort it's pretty hard, so I was happy to continue in the dry. And on the lap after my outlap I actually put in the fastest lap, so that's great. Now chasing down this racing point, and the Haas that I collided with earlier is now onto me. And he brakes just a little bit later than I do. And he hit me with his front wing. So at the end of this lap he actually boxed for a new front wing, even though it was just some light contact. And one lap later I'm able to overtake that racing point. And right before I wanted to go to the inside, he goes to the inside himself. Yeah, kinda shows my terrible reaction time, but I did not expect that at all. Maybe I should have went to the inside a little bit earlier. So I kinda touched him going into that turn after I braked a little bit weird into it because I was still a little bit shocked about what happened. And luckily I didn't get damage. And I'm now about to get lapped by this Ferrari. I just let him through like that. And in lap 31 I get chased by a Red Bull. So I keep getting cars behind me that are faster than me, which is kind of concerning, but it's also fun because it can make for nice battles. I have the Red Bull on my left here. He has the RS. But for some reason he has a bad exit or something, so I can stay ahead still.
The gap to the car ahead is 10.
So heading into the final lap, and the Red Bull is gonna put another attack. But he crashes into me. And a little bit later he loses the car, so I'm gonna have a relaxed last lap. And that will be the race of Zandvoort, finishing in P6, which is nice. And that was a rough ride, but I really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. Thanks for watching.